Hello, fellow readers and booktubers. Today I'd like to respond to a tag, a book tag that was posted by my friend Kevin Toll at Kevin Toll Reads. As a matter of fact, today is April 29th, 2025, and I think Kevin made some history today. He, on one post, has two tags in one post. I don't know if that's ever been done before. But of the two tags, I'm only going to respond to one of them because it's a little better suited to my reading experience. The tag was created by, I believe, Beckey at Book Reviews with Beckey, and then it was posted today by Kevin. And it is the Would You Rather book tag. So I'm just going to go through these prompts. Some of them are very interesting. And they are geared more towards thrillers. I don't read a lot of thrillers, but I can still respond to these based on my own reading habits. So the first prompt: would you rather read a psychological thriller with an unreliable narrator or a mystery with a twist ending? I prefer thrillers or any kind of book that has an unreliable narrator because it seems there's a lot more complexity going on there, a bit more of a challenge, and it even seems a bit more realistic because in some respects, aren't we all unreliable narrators of our own stories? So yes, I would go with the thriller with an unreliable narrator. Number two, would you rather be trapped in a locked room mystery or be part of a cat and mouse chase across a foreign city? Haven't done a lot of traveling in the past couple of years, but it's one of my favorite things to do. I love to go to foreign countries and wander the streets and all of that. So I'm kind of leaning more towards the cat and mouse chase across a foreign city. The chase part of it, though, I'm a little too old. I feel like I'm a little too old and creaky to be running all over town. So maybe the locked room mystery. Although I did notice Kevin's response to this one suggested that the locked room mystery might get a little claustrophobic after a while. So I'll take the cat and mouse chase. A chase at an even, steady stroll. A cat and mouse stroll through a foreign city. I could do that one. Number three, would you rather read a thriller that keeps you on the edge of your seat but has a disappointing ending, or a slower-paced thriller with a perfect and satisfying ending? I'll go with a slower-paced thriller with a perfect and satisfying ending. I always like the low burn kind of books. I also like that in movies, where things slowly build to a satisfying conclusion. So I would go with that. Number four, would you rather uncover a major secret halfway through the book or wait until the last chapter for the big reveal? I would go with a major secret halfway through the book because that can suddenly change everything about the book. It can really amplify the experience of reading that book if suddenly everything has changed halfway through. And yes, I like that. I find that much more intriguing. Let's see, number five, would you rather follow a detective with a dark past or a criminal mastermind who is always one step ahead? There was a series of books that I read. I think maybe the series is still ongoing. This is quite a few years back, though. And oh my gosh, I can't remember the author's name. He's very well known. But he had a series, the character was Matt Scudder, and he was a private detective and an alcoholic. And he had once been a cop. And when he was a police officer, something horrible had happened. And so he had retired from the police force, or maybe he was let go or something. Then he becomes an alcoholic, and now he's a private detective with this horrible past haunting him all the time. And then, of course, the horrors of alcoholism. Very complex character, fascinating. I don't want to tell you what the thing was that happened in case you've never read any of these, but the Matt Scudder stories I thought were really interesting, and it really kept me interested. So I would go with that. The protagonist with a dark past. Number six, would you rather read a thriller set in a remote, isolated location or one set in a bustling city full of hidden dangers? I'm a city boy. I lived in the suburbs for 30 years. Wonderful place to raise a family, and I did that. But I've moved back to the city. I like the electricity of the city, so I would definitely in the city. Number six, would you rather read already did that one. Number seven, would you rather have a main character who is constantly making wrong decisions but ultimately survives, or a character who makes all the right decisions but still ends up in danger? I go with the character who's always making the wrong decisions but ultimately survives because that's a character I can identify with in my life. I'm always making the wrong decisions, but somehow I've survived. I can identify with a character like that. So that's the one I would choose. Number 8, would you rather read a book with a villain who has a personal vendetta against the protagonist, or one with a villain who is completely unknown and mysterious? I would go with the villain who's unknown and mysterious. If he's unknown and mysterious in the sense that he's a character that's very much a part of the action, and but you don't know he's the villain, and then that slowly becomes revealed. Because to me, that's an exploration of the nature of evil. Evil isn't always an obvious thing. It just can suddenly be revealed. I find that kind of stuff very interesting to read. Number 9, would you rather read a thriller with intricate, mind-bending puzzles to solve, or one with high-intensity action scenes? I would go with the puzzles for a book. For a movie, I'd go with the high action. So a book, I'd rather have mind-bending puzzles to solve. Number 10, would you rather read a thriller with multiple points of view, or one that focuses solely on the protagonist's perspective? I would go with multiple points of view. I just find that much more interesting, and even in some ways more true to life. I would go with that. Number 11, would you rather read a book written in the first-person point of view or third-person point of view? I'll go with either one. Either one can be handled quite well. Yeah, so I'd go with that. And number 12, tag others, which I will do. And so anyway, those are my responses to the Would You Rather tag. Thank you, Kevin, for tagging me on this one, and thank you, Beckey, for writing up these prompts. It was very interesting. I really enjoyed it. Have a good day, everybody. Keep reading and stay strong.